So did you ever have a moment where you're kind of sitting out there saying, man, I don't know how much good we're doing. I may be making my friends money. There's a part in the documentary where one of your friends talks about when the baby was born and the doctor asks, did you ever use crack, cocaine? He says, no. Then he asks the wife, and he says, I'm holding my baby and she's got a scar. Every time I see the scar, it's a reminder of me. He says, that's the day when I decided to stop selling anything.
Right.
Did you ever have an experience like that? Because he tells a story about a 10-year-old comes to his door because he wants some crack cocaine. And he was sold the drugs by a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. Did you ever have a guy like you that's very calculating, you're a thinker, you don't like to use violence because of your mom killing your uncle, George, when you were younger, right in front of you with a gun because he
Absolutely.
hit her one time with a stick and she lost her eye.
No, you got
it. So what are you in this point at ever sitting there saying, dude, I may be making a lot of money, but I'm hurting a lot of people? Did you ever have that moment?
It took a while before, because in the beginning, it was all about everybody making money. And there were no crackheads. If you can just can you envision everybody that's smoking crack got enough money to pay for it at first? One of the worst things about it is that you can't get enough. You're not gonna OD, but you're not gonna get enough. I mean, if you sit here and you got 4,000, not gonna be enough for you. You're gonna keep going until the whole 4,000 is gone. It's like their mentality of people who use crack. They want to burn up all their money. When I first started, it was really crazy. You would hear people saying, yeah, I blew 500 last night. And I'd be like, what, you blew $500? So the main thing in the beginning was they weren't sleeping on the street, they weren't prostituting.
When did that happen, though? I mean,
it took a couple years.
Even a couple years later, though. Like, did you have, I guess what I'm trying to find out from you is, from that perspective, are you purely a logical guy where, you're cold to the point where I don't see any of this stuff?
Oh, no, I started.
Because that's not you. I saw how you got emotional about your kids.
I started to see it, but it took a while to see it. You just don't see it.
What was the first time? What was the first time where you're like, oh, we're actually hurting people?
Well, the first time that I really, let me say this here. I started to feel like a hypocrite. Is when I noticed that I started to change my mindset. Because at first, I used to give it to my girlfriend. I used to give it to my brothers to get high. I had enough. Here, go and get high. You can't smoke all the cocaine I got. So here, go get high. But it came to a point to where I no longer would give them cocaine. And then I didn't want them getting high anymore. So at that point that I knew it was addictive. Once I knew that I didn't want my family getting high, then I started to understand what I was doing to other people's families. I didn't want my girl, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, my aunties getting high, and I didn't feel that it was right for me to be selling cocaine to other people's family members.
And did you stop at that time? Was it kind of like
a few months later? You don't just kick the habit. You don't go cold turkey. Most people don't. Are not able to go cold turkey just immediately.
How much of it to get away from it you think it's knowing that you can outsmart anybody? Is it kind of like to the point where I think I'm invincible? I think I can outsmart anybody. I think I'm strategically smarter than these guys. Was it?
Yeah, I felt like that too. I didn't feel that the police could catch me. I thought that I could stay ahead of the police. I could stay ahead of the streets, the guys who do the robbing, and yeah, you feel like that, But I quit about a year before I went to prison,
Is this when you went to Ohio?
Yep.
Cincinnati?
But after I came back from Ohio, because I started back selling. I started back selling when I was in Ohio.
Because you came back here you were trying to buy the motels, and I think you were trying to do some of the real estate stuff.
Yeah, I was already doing that though when I was selling the drugs. The drugs financed the real estate. But when I went to Cincinnati, I went to just chill out, and then I started back selling drugs. So that was part of me trying to pull away. You know how you're trying to pull away, but you just don't do it. It took Cincinnati, getting in trouble in Cincinnati. One of my guys got caught at the bus station, and I did everything I could for him, and he still got 20 years. So that was when I was like, you know what, this is the time.
Were they the ones that ratted you out first, Cincinnati, or no? Like, how did they find out about who's behind this entire?
He didn't rat me out. The one who got caught and got the 20, he didn't. But the guy who was on the stage that I was telling you about earlier, he did. When I quit Cincinnati and went back, what they did is they went and started working all of my connections. You know, I had houses down there, I had cars. Because when I left, I just left my houses and cars and everything. I didn't take no furniture out. You know, I just left the place. And what they did is they went back and they started using all my resources and all my connections and everything. So one of them started messing with a DA agent that eventually busted him.
No connection to Blandon.
No.
So at this time, you and Blandon are still good. You're
We
still
good.
doing business regularly.
Yeah.
He is financing what he's doing for the freedom fighters, the whole CIA conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, with Nicaragua, he's doing what he's doing. He's being allowed to do what he's doing. What happens for you to get caught and go to prison first time?
They told on me. They got busted down in Cincinnati, and when they got busted, they threw me in the operation. I mean, it was pretty easy, you know. I mean, it's pretty easy for how the feds work. You know, the feds can work off of almost what they call circumstantial evidence. The way they do it is they draw a picture, and they will explain to the jury that this picture is not going to be totally complete. You know, it wasn't captured on film. It was just a picture that was drawn, and in this picture there's going to be elements that's not going to be totally complete, but it's going to be enough of a picture to where you can emphasize, and as a jury member you're allowed to emphasize. So what they did is they came up with evidence. First they proved that I was in Cincinnati. You know, they had like some rental agreements, and one had my fingerprints on it. I also had a fake ID from Cincinnati. They had that. Then all the guys that had got arrested stayed in my general area, you know, showing that we were friends, that we were connected. Then they would show the jury that you can believe that this guy really knows Rick. And if you believe what he's going to say about Rick is true, then you can convict Rick of what he said Rick did. And they were talking about, oh, I was with Rick one day and he sold 10 keys, and he sold it to this guy, Ronnie B, and he sold 5 to this guy, Jerry, and you know, and so forth and so on. And he went to New York one time, I went with him, and we stayed at this hotel one night, and we did this deal, and that's how they built their case up.
So now how much time did you do it the first time?
I did 5 years and like 4 months.
5 years and 4 months.
Yeah.
When you get out, do you have any cash still left?
No, I really got out. I was broke. I think I had a couple pieces of property left. I still had the theater that I was trying to build.